And a very fine good evening to you, ladies and gentlemen. We welcome you in live on YouTube to the Nest here in Gilbert, Arizona, at the home of the Highland Hawks for a huge 6A matchup tonight. It's the visiting Desert Ridge Jaguars, ranked number 3 in the state, against the home Highland Hawks, who are number 6. A Jaguars win tonight guarantees them their first division win since 2014, so they definitely have something to play for. I'm here with my partner, Alex Didion. I'm Jordan Lank. Alex, a huge game here on senior night for the Hawks. What do they have to do to win this one?
Yeah, these two teams competing for that 6A Central title. Desert Ridge holds the edge as they are 4-0 in division play, whereas Highland has that loss to Mountain Point. Now, in order for Highland to be able to hang on and come out and win this division, they would have to beat Desert Ridge tonight and have Mountain Point lose. They are playing Gilbert High School. So some stuff has to happen. It's going to come down to stopping the run for the Hawks. This team, the Jaguars, were able to run the ball incredibly effectively against Desert Vista. They dominated on both sides of the ball. Their quarterback, Cooper Schmidt, ran for 155 yards, absolutely dominated. That's going to be the biggest key tonight for Highland. It's going to be Tate Stevens and Jacob Wood are going to be the two guys. The seniors, they got honored before the game. Those two linebackers are going to be vital. If they play well, Highland will have a chance.
And last week, these Hawks beat a pretty good Gilbert Tigers team in their home field. They beat them 41-33 at Gilbert. Caleb Herbert went 8 for 16 passing, 105 yards. But the story of that game was the two backs for Highland, Connor Cullimore and Jacob Wood, each with 3 touchdowns. Wood had 8 carries and 91 rush yards, and Connor Cullimore also had 8 carries, but only for 35 yards, had 2 touchdowns, but also took his second kick return back for a touchdown this season, his first one against the Corona del Sol Aztecs in the season opener. And for Desert Ridge, they absolutely handed it to Desert Vista last week. They held them to, I believe, 35-7, correct? A 35-7 game against a pretty good Desert Vista team. Held them to 150 yards, no offensive touchdowns, and they forced 2 turnovers. Desert Ridge getting ready to take the field out of the northeast end zone. They're wearing their all-whites tonight, as you see Highland on your screen, and they're all blacks. And coming in into the field now, as you see on your screen in the distance, the Desert Ridge Jaguars. We are just under a minute until the coin toss here in Gilbert.
Yeah, and some players to look out for tonight from the Desert Ridge Jaguars. You have Lucas Wright, the running back, super talented, 562 yards on the season and 9 touchdowns, had 90 yards rushing last week, and was a key part of their win over Desert Vista. And then on the defensive side, Chase Thompson, the team's leading tackler. He has been all over the field for this Jaguar team all season, and last week had a big-time interception that propelled them to victory late in the game.
And on that defensive side for Desert Ridge, also number 18, Deshae Bennett, plays outside linebacker, leads 6A with 13.5 sacks.
Yeah, he's been absolutely phenomenal. It's going to be key. This offensive line has struggled at times for Highland this season, and that is an extremely talented player to compete with. It'll be tough. This offensive line is going to have to step up. If Highland comes out as the winner tonight, it will be because of that offensive line for the Hawks.
Well, this is a new development that we're seeing on the field here. You see number 6, that's Jacob Wood. Wood not in uniform tonight for the Hawks. We weren't aware of this up here. It looks like he has some tape around his right knee, so that'll definitely tamper the rushing efforts and the defensive efforts of the Hawks. So we'll have to see if Highland's able to help themselves there.
Well, and these Highland running backs, while they have been dominant at times, they also carry a lot of the load for this offense. They take a lot of hits. Jacob Wood especially playing at linebacker, both sides of the ball. He's getting hit almost every single play in some way or shape or form. So it's tough to see. Connor Cullimore also was out earlier this season with an ankle injury, although he's been able to recover and is suited up for tonight. But the loss of Jacob Wood could prove key. He was going to be my impact performer pick for tonight's game, with his ability to not only run the ball on offense but intercept. He has 4 picks on the year at the linebacker position. So big loss for the Hawks tonight. We'll see if the Tate Stevens can lead this defense in his absence.
Stevens, one of the captains out there on the field, also with Tyler T. Brady, as well as Levi Peterson. and obviously Wood on the field as well. Desert Ridge will receive the opening kickoff for tonight. We are ready to get underway here at the Nest in Gilbert. Again, a huge game tonight for both teams. Highland looking to climb up the 6A ranks, and Desert Ridge looking to lock away their first division title since 2014.
Yeah, if Highland wants to flip this game in their control, they're going to have to force some turnovers and get that, as you may have just seen on your screen, the Highland turnover chain, a mock of the University of Miami's turnover chain with the gold and then the signature Highland H on there with the eagle, or with the hawk, excuse me. It inspires a team when you've got some kind of an incentive for making plays on defense, and if those guys are wearing the turnover chain around and making plays, that will be a key part of Highland being able to pull this upset tonight.
Well, on senior night, it'll be a junior, Austin McNamara, the kicker and punter for the Hawks, and we'll get this game started. Number 5, Don J. Logan back to receive for Desert Ridge.
You can already feel the electricity building here. This is a big, big game here. Big-time high school football here in Arizona.
And in the last game of the regular season, McNamara set to boot it away. We've got some kind of hold-up on the field here, but now it looks like we're ready to go. Cowbells ablaze in the Highland stands. The student section making their noise. Hawk flags flying. And hopefully for these Highland fans, the Hawks will be too, to their 8th win of the season. The whistle finally blown. McNamara boots it away. And it will go back through the end zone for a touchback.
Yeah, that's been one of the most consistent bets all year for this Highland team, is that Austin McNamara will drill that kickoff through the end zone. A few times this year, he's even come close to knocking it through the uprights. So, love Austin McNamara. He's also tied for the lead in 6A with 8 made field goals, so a lot of power in that foot. We'll see if that comes into play tonight. Special teams a big factor.
I believe McNamara 8 for 13 on the season, a 60% clip. So Desert Ridge coming out with their quarterback, Cooper Schmidt, in the shotgun formation to start things off. He's got 2 wide to his left and 2 to his right.
Yeah, these linemen are lined up with gigantic splits. A lot of room on each side of the center. We'll see how that strategy pays off. Looks like they're trying to open holes before the play even starts.
And we know Cooper Schmidt is a running quarterback. On the first play of the game, he'll throw one down the middle and complete. A dime over the middle to number 6, Caden Bethel.
And I was about 90% sure they were going to run that on first down, especially the way they had their linemen set up. And a beautiful seam route by Bethel, and just a nice job by Cooper Schmidt to find him. Schmidt, not known for his throwing ability, but a great touch throw there, and Bethel hauls it in for a big gain.
The Jaguars get to the line quickly. It'll be an option here. And Cooper Schmidt keeps and carries for about 8 yards.
And that's what we're going to see a lot of tonight, is that read option with Cooper Schmidt. Last week, as I mentioned, 155 yards rushing against the Desert Vista Thunder. He'll look to repeat that performance this week, and this Highland defense is going to have to make some plays and stop him at the line of scrimmage.
Looks like the Jags are trying to keep things going quickly. 2nd and 3 from the 33-yard line. Desert Ridge already in Highland territory. Play action, and Schmidt will run through the middle again. Highland will stop him just short of the 20-yard line.
Yeah, it looked like he took a big helmet-to-helmet hit there.
And by the way the crowd sounds, there may have been a fumble on the play. However, the action on the field says otherwise. Still Jaguars ball, 1st and 10 from the 22. Just over a minute into the game. 10:46 remaining in the first. The Jags will hand it off. As number 22, Tyrese Allen, the senior,
Yeah, they're keeping running out of this pistol formation here. They're trying to get Highland hit at the point of attack and then allow those running backs to make plays behind him. And so far, Highland been unable to slow him down in the middle. Dallin Clement and this defensive line going to have to shut down those holes.
2nd and 6 from the 18. As you mentioned, Alex, still in that pistol formation. 2 receivers to each side for Cooper Schmidt. Again, that big split on that line. Cooper looking left, finds and completes to number 3, Deontay Elliott.
Yeah, and it looks like Desert Ridge trying to go to the air here early in this game and try to exploit the matchups in the secondary. And so far it's worked as they've completed their first 3 passes. This is a deadly attack. If they're able to throw the ball with the ability they already have to run, this is going to be a tough attack to stop all night.
Now we're over 2 minutes in, and they're already in the red zone. Schmidt takes the snap. Again on the read option. He'll take it himself, and he's stopped by Tate Stevens.
Yeah, right there. That's exactly what you need. Penetration on the defensive line and the ability to stop that quarterback before he's able to make a cut. Because if he makes that first cut, it's really hard for those linebackers and secondary guys to make a play on him if he's already broken into the second level.
No gain on the play, 2nd and 10. The Jaguars setting up at the Highland 11-yard line. Same formation. Schmidt tries to get the Hawks to jump on the hard count, unable to do so. Looks like he's calling an audible out now. Schmidt. And a timeout is going to be taken by the Desert Ridge Jaguars. So, not sure if they liked what they had going there, did Desert Ridge, but a good stop of the clock for Highland. The Jaguars were driving down the field with some impeccable speed.
Yeah, I think they had gained yardage on almost every single play on that drive, and so far it's been all Desert Ridge. I mean, they've just been able to consistently move the football. Obviously, it's early, but those defensive linemen, that play we just saw with Tate Stevens and those D linemen able to wrap Cooper Schmidt up and take him to the ground, that's going to be key. But guys like Jalen Johnson and Mason Romero in the secondary will also be key. If they're going to keep throwing this ball, those guys got to make some plays. Jalen Johnson, 4 interceptions on the year.
3:02 into the game so far. Desert Ridge and Highland both ready to get back at it. So we haven't seen Desert Ridge shy away from this pistol formation yet. But again, it's Schmidt looking towards the sideline as if to call another audible.
You don't want to have miscommunication this early in the game.
Schmidt keeps and carries again on the option and is tackled inside the 5-yard line, might be down at the 2.
Yeah, a couple of Hawks there had a chance to take him down in the backfield for a loss, and instead Cooper Schmidt showing that versatility and ability to break away, and a great pickup there. Now we got 3rd down and short. This is where the big guys inside prove big. On the goal line, can you make a stop?
3rd and 1. And Highland will not make the stop as they are in for the touchdown, are the Jaguars. Looked like number 22, Tyrese Allen, punched it in for Desert Ridge, and they're on the board early.
Yeah, and just like we said, a bunch of consistent runs up the middle, but also they showed the ability to spread it out, and if they keep that offense up on that drive the whole night, it's going to be a long night for the Hawks defense.
Number 30, Logan Stevens, out to kick the extra point. Number 99, Cameron Weinberg, the holder. The snap and the hold. The kick is up, and it is through the uprights. The extra point is good. Desert Ridge takes an early 7-0 lead, and if Highland can't stop that read option offense, this may not end too well for the Hawks.
Yeah, and this is proving to be, could be the loss of Jacob Wood, could be showing on the field right now. As a linebacker, he was always able to get there and stop the run, or teaming up with Tate Stevens, and now that you're down one of those guys, a big loss. We'll see how much he impacts the offensive game plan. I'd imagine you see a lot more of Dayton Huffman getting the ball, and obviously Connor Collimore can have to shoulder even more of a load than he has this entire season.
Speaking of Dayton Huffman, it looks like he's out there to receive the kickoff along with Ty Bryant.
Yeah, Ty Bryant looking to rebound. The last time we were here at Highland had a couple of miscues on punt returns that cost the team turnovers. So nice to see that they've put him back out there. Clearly got his confidence back. And look for him on senior night, try to make a big play.
So again, it'll be Stevens kicking it away. Normally receiving kicks for the Hawks is Connor Cullimore. Looks like he's not out there to take it back for the Hawks. Cullimore last week, as we mentioned in the open, had a kick return touchdown. And that touchdown ended up being the difference between a win and a loss against the Gilbert Tigers last week. The kick bounces and is fielded by Highland.
Yeah, it looks like Tanner Lund on that return for the Hawks. Weird kick there, the way it bounced up to him. And so good field position starting for Highland. And so we'll see 1st and 10. We'll see what Caleb Herbert and this offense can put together for their first drive, trying to respond to that early touchdown.
Herbert comes out without Jacob Wood. Again, the story of the game early for the Hawks. Herbert alone in the backfield, got trips out to the right and 2 to his left. Herbert looking right immediately, completes to Ty Bryant. Bryant's got some room across the middle and forces his way to a first down.
That's where Ty Bryant's going to be most effective, is get him the ball in space, allow him to make some plays. A nice mid-screen there. The wide receivers, they're able to jump out, set some blocks, and Bryant does a nice job getting the Hawks first down, their first down of the game. And that's all you could really ask for on the first play. Pick up some good yardage, get a first down. Great start by the Hawks.
A nice pace setter for Highland. Herbert under center now, gives to Dayton Huffman. Huffman gets about 4 or 5 yards. Dayton Huffman, the guy they called Day-Day.
Looks like they're continuing to also fake that reverse to Connor Cullimore coming around the edge. Look for that to come up and rear its head later in the game, possibly a handoff to Cullimore on a misdirection.
Herbert in shotgun formation again with trips out to his right. That's Huffman, who motions out to his left. They give the ball to Cullimore. Cullimore likely will be serving as the power back tonight for Highland.
Yeah, tough carry there from Cullimore. Puts his head down, gets hit hard, able to battle forward. Just shy of that first down marker. And a big 3rd down here on this first drive for Highland.
It's a 3rd and 2 now from the Jaguars' 48-yard line.
I would expect it to be a throw here. Watch for Caleb Herbert, the young red rifle for this Hawks team. Look to see what they've got cooked up on this short 3rd down.
I like that a lot. That's one I haven't heard yet. 6:43 remaining. Herbert gives to Cullimore. And they're going to stop the play. Let's see if he got enough.
Yeah, that's going to be close. There is a lot of bodies in there on that run. Tough push in the pile. Desert Ridge got some initial pushback, so we'll see. They're going to have to measure that. It looks like they're going to mark it short. So big decision here for Brock Farrell and this team. Do you go for it on a 4th down already in the hole, 7-0?
4th and 1, just about halfway through the first quarter. Herbert jogs in from the Highland sideline with the play. Hawks will break huddle, and they're going to go for it on 4th down. Herbert, and it's a fumble at the line. Who comes up with it? Desert Ridge says they have it. And indeed they do.
Yeah, that is not what you want to see on a 4th down. Connor Cullimore got that handoff. Simply appeared to slip out of his hands. Not a clean handoff there between Herbert and Cullimore. And either way on 4th down, that wasn't going to end up being converted. They got a lot of push at the defensive line from Desert Ridge. And that's a big play now with Desert Ridge taking over at their own 48-yard line. Only 52 yards to the end zone. If they get a score here, it puts Highland in a big hole, especially this early in the game.
Desert Ridge with some favorable field position for their second drive of the game. Looks like this time it's Matthew Purnell out there for Desert Ridge. Purnell a couple steps on the drop, pressured. Fires out to his left, incomplete, intended for number 10, Lucas Wright.
Yeah, they switched quarterbacks finally on us here in the first quarter. Maybe they're switching off drives, but a missed throw there. He had a wide open receiver on the run, not able to connect.
And coming into the game, Alex, we thought that Cooper Schmidt was going to be the guy to run that option, and Matthew Purnell will be the guy that sort of goes through the air a little bit more. And through Purnell's first snap, it looks like that might be the case. We'll have to see what transpires here on this drive. Purnell takes the snap, looks to his right, and is sacked. Number 46, Noah Evans, who pressured Purnell on the last play as well and was able to force him to throw incomplete.
Yeah, Noah Evans making some big plays already. Clearly, Desert Ridge having a tough time keeping him away from the quarterback. Nice play by the senior to make a big play.
A loss of 5, 3rd and 15. Purnell rolling to his left, looking down the field, almost sacked, and this time he is sacked. Number 54, Jake Trejo on senior night. So on this drive, it's the seniors coming up clutch. And you can hear this Highland crowd. They are ecstatic.
Easy to get the momentum back when you make some plays on defense, getting a couple sacks. That's a great play by the Hawks to get a couple sacks in a row. Matthew Purnell has no time to get throws off. Looks like we've got a penalty against the Hawks.
So regardless of the penalty, it looks like it'll be 4th and 9. And the punter for Desert Ridge, number 99, Cameron Weinberg. Back to punt, almost blocked. And Cullimore is going to let it bounce inside the 5. A great punt. Was he inside the end zone? And he was. So Desert Ridge tried to down the ball at the 1, but it looks like their special teams guys, that might have been Kobe Hathcock, number 21, was in the end zone or on the line at least when he touched the ball.
Yeah, the son of the coach. Interesting. Usually you see the highest football IQ from the guy, son of the head coach, but a tough play there. He tried to get a little too cute, catch it just inside the 1, and ended up stepping into the end zone, which results in a touchback. So Highland now starting at their own 20. We'll see what they can do on this second drive. Hopefully a better result.
With the touchback, Highland will start at their 20-yard line. Herbert sets up in shotgun formation. Huffman in motion out to his right. He'll have trips out right now with 2 receivers to his left. Now Noah Burdick going out to the right side on motion. Herbert looking left for the isolation and finds Tanner Lunt for the first down.
That's a big-time throw from Caleb Herbert across the field. Those out routes oftentimes is what separates the good quarterbacks from the great ones, especially at the high school level. He zipped that over to Tanner Lunt. You saw that in the NFL game the other night where Matt Moore tried to do the same thing, got picked off for a pick 6. That's a tremendous throw by Caleb Herbert, and another great start to the Hawks drive.
I like that, with Highland drawing attention to the right side of the field and Lunt getting open on the left. Huffman takes the handoff, excuse me. Huffman gets maybe 1 yard.
Yeah, and you can feel the intensity here. You can feel it. These are 2 very, very powerful teams and big teams in the 6A conference, and they are not trading any punches tonight. They are going at it the whole play.
Just under 4 minutes to go in the first quarter. The score, Desert Ridge 7 and Highland nothing. Herbert takes the snap and gives, play action. Herbert over the middle. Incomplete, was trying to find, again, his favorite target, Tanner Lunt.
Yeah, Lunt is the guy he will almost always throw it to if he's going deep down the field, and just a little bit past him. If that ball had been on line, that could have been 6 points for the Hawks. A tough break there, but Caleb Herbert, you got to show quarterbacks, you got to have a short-term memory. Come back, make another throw here, 3rd down and long. Certainly a passing situation for the Hawks.
So to be exact, it'll be 3rd and 9 from the Highland 33-yard line. Herbert takes the snap and rolls right, looking down the sideline, and incomplete. Intended again for Tanner Lunt.
Yeah, on 3rd down, tried to go again to the sideline to Lunt, and once again just a little bit offline. Those are 2 tough misses there from Caleb Herbert, but once again, like I just said, got to shake those off, and plenty of game left here for the Hawks, but you got to start putting some points on the board on these drives. Can't rely on your defense to keep making big plays like they just did.
So McNamara out to punt now. Desert Ridge has a man at their own 30 to receive.
Yeah, and McNamara 4th in the 6A division on punt yards, average yards per punt.
McNamara almost blocked there. And the return man drops the ball. He comes up with it. The return man, Isaiah Eastman, a sophomore wide receiver playing on varsity.
Yeah, and he got absolutely drilled. I'm not sure if he thought he called a fair catch there or what, but he dropped that and didn't seem to be expecting any type of contact. And Highland came in, and they hit him hard.
An end-over-end punt there by McNamara. And they're going to mark the ball at the 33-yard line.
Looks like they've got Cooper Schmidt back in there at quarterback, so clearly they may just be rotating these guys every other drive.
I would assume we can look for the read option, as that worked on the first drive. Schmidt gives to Lucas Wright. Wright, a junior, 6'2", weighing 210 pounds for Desert Ridge.
Yeah, right. We talked about him earlier. He's had some big games over the past couple weeks and really has done an excellent job of being able to carry that ball. Tough stop there from the Hawks, only held him to 3 yards.
Again, Desert Ridge working quickly. Schmidt keeps on the read option and finds some room to run. Gains about 8 yards, tackled on the play by number 5, Tyler T. Brady.
Yeah, Brady does a nice job there wrapping him up. Looks like once again they had him stop. They hit the running back. They guessed wrong on the read option and brings up a short 3rd down here. Hawks defensive line once again going to need to step up, make a play.
Schmidt looking to his left, can't find anybody on the run. Throws down the sideline. Did he get it in bounds? No, he did not. The official says that number 15, Aiden Lee, was out of bounds. Threw into double coverage, did Schmidt.
Yeah, tough play there on the run. He tried to roll out, and he had a receiver going down the field, tried to lead him. Not a tremendous throw, but again, tough play on the run to make. And it looks like the offense staying on the field here on 4th and 1.
You know, Alex, I'm not even sure I knew it was 4th down. This offense has been moving so quickly. Schmidt looking to the sideline again.
Yeah, look for Tate Stevens here. Going to go up the middle. I would imagine they're going to run this ball.
Schmidt takes the snap, and they will run it. That's number 10, Lucas Wright. Looks like he got enough for the 1st down. However, the official on the far side of the field is saying that it's Highland ball.
And they will give him a 1st down there.
Maybe some miscommunication down on the field between the referees.
Seems to happen pretty frequently. And here we go.
And the referee that called it Highland ball is now coming in to talk to our head referee tonight. And they might bring out the chains to measure. Looks like he'll go talk to Highland head coach Brock Farrell. So if they do end up giving the ball to Highland, which it looks like they're not going to do, That would have been a huge stop.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening here, but it looks like it's 1st and 10 for the Jaguars.
A lot of confusion early on the field.
I guess it's better to double and triple check your calls as opposed to making the wrong ones, especially when you don't have instant replay.
Cooper Schmidt checking his play wristband before taking the snap. He's got trips out to his left, but he'll keep on the read option and will be stopped at the line of scrimmage by a barrage of Highland Hawks.
Yeah, and every chance you get to hit the quarterback, you want to really hit him. That is a great play. Good pressure from the defensive line. Get into the backfield and stop on the penetration.
One minute and 15 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Jags 7, Hawks nothing. Schmidt gives on the option this time to right.
Yeah, and again, a tough, short, trying to continue to run in between the tackles, and the Highland defensive line keeps slowing them down. Now we got 3rd and 5. I would imagine Cooper Schmidt's going to be throwing this football. So look for the DBs, Connor Collimore and this safety, make a play as he hypes up the crowd.
Yeah, you hear the Highland PA announcer. This is not a library. It's the direct quote. Hawks fans are loud. We're under the 30-second mark to go in the first quarter. Schmidt, the snap, keeps on the option and is stopped by Tate Stevens. A big stop on 3rd down.
Yeah, Stevens didn't fall for that fake at all. Squared up Cooper Schmidt and drove him into the ground after just a 1-yard gain. A great play by the senior, who has been an impact player on defense all season long.
Connor Collimore comes out now for the Hawks, but it looks like the snap will not get away as we've reached the end of the first quarter. And the score, the Jaguars 7 and the Hawks nothing. So far, Alex, the Hawks have really been hanging in it with the Jaguars, who really have a potent offense. They've been able to stop the read option since that first drive.
Yeah, the Highland offense has looked a little bit outmatched so far. Not a lot of positive yards. I'm not sure what adjustments they're going to have to make, but they're going to need to make them here in the second quarter. Perhaps trying to work the ball maybe more to Dayton Huffman and Ty Bryant in space, or trying to hit some of those passes down the field. If that one to Tanner Lunt had been just a little bit closer, that could have been 6 points.
I'm impressed by this Highland defense.
Yeah, they've been extremely resilient this whole time. Desert Ridge got a phenomenal offense, especially running the ball, and that's been a tough one for Highland. They've dealt with a lot of teams that are run first. Last team we saw here was Desert Vista, who's all about putting the ball on the ground, and that's what you can't say enough about these linebackers and defensive line, being able to, that front seven, to be able to plug up the holes and stop them for short gains.
So at the beginning of the second quarter, we'll flip the field. Connor Cullimore now at the north end of the field, set up at the 10-yard line. Cameron Weinberg back to punt, receives the snap, punts it away. Cullimore is going to let it bounce, and it will go. Another close call. Let's see if they mark it at the 1.
Oh, and they are going to mark that as down.
Wow.
So a great hustle play this time. Last time they misplayed it on the bounce. This time they do a great job. I'm not sure who that was, but he ran and dove and just knocked it back into play just before it went over the end zone line.
And with that great play, you can't understate the punt there by Cameron Weinberg. It was a nice punt. Took a couple of bounces, and obviously the great hustle by the special teams unit of Desert Ridge.
Yeah, you can't start much further from the end zone than the Hawks will on this first drive. So yeah, we'll have to see. Caleb Herbert's going to have to put together a 99-yard drive. And this is what, like I said earlier, throws to the sidelines and then sustaining drives are what separates the good average quarterbacks from the great ones.
So Herbert will be taking the snap from his own end zone. The give to Cullimore. And let's see where they stop the forward progress. He was tackled in the end zone. Looks like they're not going to call the safety.
Yeah,
And they may give him a yard or two.
Yeah, it looked like they're going to mark this at about the 2-yard line. So, once again, that's pretty much all you can do when you're especially packed up that far. You got to just try to run it out of your own end zone. You cannot drop your quarterback back, especially with how much trouble this offensive line has had protecting Caleb Herbert all season.
That was Dayton Huffman. Excuse me, Alex. $11:09 to go. Herbert sets up in shotgun formation. 3 receivers to each side. Looks across the middle, completes to number 9, Riley Bond, the senior. We haven't seen much of him lately.
Yeah, Riley, the senior, finally able to get a catch. That's a nice job. He sat down, caught that ball. It's a big target for this team to get him the ball. And, yeah, you're right. He doesn't really get thrown the ball all that often, but when he does, it's usually a really positive play. So look for them to maybe find Riley Bond more as this game drags on.
3rd and 4 now after the 5-yard completion. Highland setting up from their 7. Herbert calls Huffman in motion out to his left. Now looking to his right and will complete to number 8, Elliott Moe. Tackled by 2 Desert Ridge players, number 4, Carson Brooks, and number 20, Gabe Segura. But a nice job by Caleb Herbert to find the open Moe for the first down.
Yeah, Moe ran that curl route, quickly turned around. Herbert put the ball right where he needed to be, and just a great pitch and catch there, and that's a big first down. Now the key is, can they get another one, and then another one, and then another one. Getting one first down isn't going to help you. You need consistent production.
Herbert, they give to Huffman. It looks like there's not going to be much production on that play.
Yeah, it looks like on first down, Desert Ridge is consistently getting a lot of push up the middle and not allowing Highland to get much going on their run, especially in between the tackles.
The Jags so far showing their defensive prowess, holding Highland scoreless through a quarter, and now about 2.5 minutes into the second quarter. Caleb Herbert calls Noah Burdick in motion out from the right to the left. Now Herbert looking to his right, incomplete.
Yeah,
searching for Lunt.
Herbert did what every good quarterback should do. He got rid of that ball before Lunt had completed his break, and as he was coming out, the ball was there. It was just a little bit too far to the sideline. Nice job by Herbert putting it to where it cannot be intercepted, but once again, he just got to tone down. He's just a little bit off on all these throws. If he just sharpens up his accuracy a little bit, they're going to get a lot more completions. He's clearly got the arm talent. It's just the accuracy is what's concerning.
We watched Caleb Herbert in practice, the nephew of former BYU Heisman winner Ty Detmer, so he's definitely got the family lineage. Herbert sends Cullimore in motion to his right, and Herbert's going to have to scurry out of there. He'll find a little bit of room to run. Will be stopped. Looks like around the 22-yard line by a couple of Desert Ridge Jaguars.
Yeah, he took a big hit there as he tried to pull that down, showing off a little bit of his uncle's athleticism, known for escaping tough situations. That was very Steve Young, Ty Detmer-esque on that scramble, but not enough for the first down. It looks like Austin McNamara will be punting this ball away.
The play ends with the Hawks 3 yards short of the first down. And as you mentioned, Alex McNamara out to punt away. He's lined up at his own 6. Takes the snap. A nice end-over-end punt again. Desert Ridge will field it. Number 7, Daley Foster, tackled just shy of the 45-yard line of the Jaguars.
Yeah, the senior Bryden Horn coming in making that tackle. So another empty possession for the Hawks. And as we're starting to wind through, getting about halfway through the second quarter, the Highland defense has continued. They've been hustling so far. They just have not really been able to stay off the field for very long. Hopefully Tate Stevens can keep that stamina up and keep making plays for the Highland defense.
Matthew Purnell back out on the field for the Jaguars. That back and forth quarterback action. See him in the middle of your screen there. With the play wristband on, he takes the snap. Well, look out right and watch out. Number 54, Jake Trejo from the blind side.
Yeah, that's a big hit, and Matthew Purnell has seemed to have a lot more pressure on him than Cooper Schmidt. I'm not sure what the play calling difference is, but Purnell seems to be getting hit almost every play that he's been in so far. Another great job by Jake Trejo on this defensive line.
The sack loses 5 for the Jags. Purnell the give. That's to Lucas Wright, who falls around midfield. Let's see where they mark the ball.
Yeah, and it looks like Griffin Nielsen lost his helmet on that play. He'll have to come out for a 1 play. As we were saying earlier, the tension, the intensity high out there.
So they mark Lucas Wright at his own 48-yard line. 3rd and 6 now for Desert Ridge. Passing situation here?
I would imagine you got to go to the air, although the running game has seemed like a lot better, especially with Purnell in.
Purnell takes the snap and pitches to number 3, Deontay Elliott, looking to get to the outside and is stopped short, it looks like, on the far side of the field.
Yeah, it looked like that was number 45, Daniel Wood, who was called up from JV earlier this season. His older brother Jacob was honored tonight for senior night. But a great play there by Daniel to run up, hit the running back, and it looks like there's a penalty on Desert Ridge. So no matter what, penalty will be declined, and it looks like they're going to have to punt it away.
We're getting word up here that it is a holding penalty.
So it looks like they accepted the penalty and have instead forced a long 3rd down here.
So now after the 10-yard deduction, it's definitely a passing situation here for Desert Ridge. Purnell will line up with 2 receivers to his right and 2 to his left, as Desert Ridge has done for most of the game. Purnell looking down the middle of the field, and it's complete to Deontay Elliott, and he's got nobody near him. Takes it into the end zone for the Jaguars. Touchdown.
Yeah, and it looked like Dayton Huffman was the man in coverage there for the Hawks, and a tough play. There was a lot of pressure on Purnell. You saw the pocket collapsing, and he just heaved that football, and yeah, that is a tough break for the Hawks. That ball came down in the hands of Deontay Elliott, and with 6:38 left in this ball game, Highland now falls 2 possessions behind.
6:38 left in the half.
In the half, excuse me.
Sorry. The extra point up and through the wickets. It is good. So the Jaguars make it 14-0 on a really nice pitch and catch by Matthew Purnell, who connects with Deontay Elliott around the 20-yard line.
Yeah.
And Deontay Elliott able to run it into the end zone for the touchdown.
Yeah, hopefully if any of you at home are watching this game, not the start you were hoping for from your Highland Hawks, but there's a lot of fight in these kids. Throughout this whole season, no matter what, when they fell behind against Desert Vista a couple weeks ago, they've fallen behind in other games. They've been able to make consistent plays.
And while we have the moment here on the broadcast, all of us here at Highland would like to extend our hearts out to the Moon Valley High School community. We'd like to extend our support to the Carlos Sanchez family. Carlos was a varsity linebacker who played for Moon Valley, and he tragically lost his life this last weekend after last week's game, after a hit in that game. So all of us here at Highland, all of us in the production, and students, fans, and players, we all reach out and send our love and support to all of you watching in from Moon Valley. A little squib kick is fielded by, looks like Tate Stevens out there.
That was Cole Porter, the senior.
42 and 43 look kind of similar.
So it looks like they're spotting him at about the 35. So good field position once again for the Hawks. they got to get a big play here. Maybe a ball down the field. Look for Tanner Lunt to run a deep post or a streak, and have Caleb Herbert show off that cannon of an arm, or to start feeding it to Connor Cullimore, your best offensive player.
Lunt is out on the field. He's that slot receiver out to the left side. Herbert sends Cullimore in motion and is now scurrying to his left, throws the ball down the field looking for Riley Bond. Incomplete, and they're going to call a pass interference penalty.
Yeah, and it looked like there was definitely some holding there as Riley Bond tried to box out the DB, and a great play. That was John Butler.
Butler can't believe it there.
Yeah, he thought he had a great play, and that's a tough break for Desert Ridge.
Oh, these fans like that one. That'll mark the ball at the 50-yard line. Not a spot foul in high school. So the Hawks with a fresh set of downs. Herbert on the double play action, looking deep for Lunt. Complete inside the 15-yard line and down at the 11.
Incomplete. It fell incomplete.
Oh, my goodness, it fell incomplete. That was also Ty Bryant.
Yeah, the senior wide receiver.
I got a little excited on that one. Sorry about that.
He nearly hauled that one in, though. That would have been a completely momentum-shifting play.
That time it was clean in the Desert Ridge secondary.
Yeah, there's a flag down on this play after the short run by Cullimore. Flag came in the backfield.
So the referee's calling an illegal shift on the Hawks.
Yeah, that flag leg came in right before the snap, or right as the snap happened. So another tough break for the Hawks. Offensively, they've accrued quite a few penalties.
Well, it's a 2nd and 15. On 2nd and 15, Herbert looking down the field again, incomplete, intended for Cody Zimmerman, number 19. Zimmerman the junior for Highland. Looks like we've got a skirmish here in the stands between the Highland fans and some of the Desert Ridge coaches.
Yeah, the intensity has extended to the crowd here.
Herbert on 3rd and 15 completes over the middle to Connor Cullimore, who tries to hurdle.
Tried to channel his inner Manny Wilkins on that play.
A guy we know well, being ASU students. So as we try to get this situation up here in the press box handled, we apologize for any expletives that may have been heard over the broadcast or may be heard over the broadcast. We'll try to get this under control.
Yeah, we're
3rd and 22 now.
Trying to stay focused on this game here, and it's another tough short play there for the Hawks.
And something we didn't mention, Cullimore flagged for that attempt to hurdle there. Pushed Highland back about 7 yards or so.
Yeah, that's been a rule for a few years now, no hurdling in high school. I'm not really sure what the allure is to all these kids trying to hurdle. I mean, it opens you up to so much potential for injury. You're trying to jump over people.
McNamara ready to send it away on the 4th and 21. McNamara getting ready to punt inside his own 25. And he kicks it away, a nice punt. Lots of distance, takes a bounce inside the 20 at the 17-yard line, and might have gone out of bounds at around the 18 or 19.
Yeah, another solid punt from Austin McNamara. Pinning him inside the 20. That's all you can ask for out of your punter, especially on that deep of a punt. Another great job, and you can't. The special teams and the defense have been there for Highland Knight, with the exception of a few miscues. The offense is going to need to try to step it up. If going to the half again with no points, it's going to be really hard to come back.
Well, and guess what? Cooper Schmidt back out on the field. Lucas Wright takes the handoff from Schmidt.
Yeah, it's the junior Nielsen again in on the stop, holding him just a couple yards on that gain. As it appears, all the excitement up here in the press box has died down. And that's Nielsen again with a phenomenal tackle of Lucas Wright.
Allen quickly, that brings it up a 3rd and 7. Schmidt takes the snap and gives to his running back Wright, who jumps across the 30-yard line. Looks like they're going to mark him short of the first down, however, at the 28. Nice job by the senior Bryden Horn to trip him up and make it a 4th and 1.
And you know they're going for it here on 4th and 1. So look for a run up the middle. This is once again going to be Tate Stevens or Griffin Nielsen who made the last couple plays.
Cooper Schmidt calling out the audible coming in from the sideline. And it looks like they jumped on the offensive side. They did.
Yeah, so it appeared they were trying to draw the Hawks offsides and instead drew themselves offsides.
It's Deontay Elliott that jumped offsides for Desert Ridge. That'll push him back 5 yards and make it a 4th and 6. So definitely a punt situation now as Desert Ridge's offense trots off the field.
Yeah, and the momentum is really just all on Desert Ridge's side right now. It would take a big play here. Connor Collimore back deep to return this punt. He's been the Hawks' most consistent playmaker this whole season. Look for him to make a play here and try to swing this game back in their favor.
Well, he'd definitely be the guy to do it as Weinberg sends the punt away. Collimore calls for a fair catch, bobbles, and recovers. Highland will keep the ball.
Yeah,
we've
seen that movie before with this Hawks punt return. It's always an adventure back there, and thank goodness Collimore was able to recover and dive on top of that. That could have been another disaster for the special teams unit.
They'll mark it at the 31. And as time has flown by in this game, we've got 2 minutes and 31 seconds until halftime. And fans, we'd like to remind you that our game tonight is senior night for Highland. And at halftime, we will be playing the Highland Senior Tribute. We did on the field earlier before the game. As the give is given to Huffman.
Yeah, minimal gain there. They just have not been able to consistently run the ball on first down. And they're once again more than likely going to have to spread this formation out and put Herbert back there by himself if they want to complete passes. Give him 5 wide receivers.
As the clock hits the 2-minute mark, Herbert looking to his right, completes to Huffman in the backfield and makes a couple of moves. Huffman finally ends up with about 9 yards, so a nice job there by the junior, Dayton Huffman, to find a couple of yards.
Yeah, and with Jacob Wood moving on after this season, look for Colomore and Huffman to be the future of this offense. And right there, Huffman, they've been trying to get him the ball all game, and he just hasn't been able to break any big plays.
Well, this team has definitely missed Jacob Wood on that offensive side so far this game. Wood, their power back, haven't really had that oomph up the middle that they normally have.
And not to mention at the linebacker position, he provided it hits, and he made some big plays in the passing game, 4
Absolutely.
interceptions.
Herbert back under center in an I formation. Play action, looking over the middle, complete to Tanner Lunt.
Unbelievable catch from Lunt. Wow. Able to leap up and make that catch right there. In the final 2 minutes of this game, big plays come from players like Tanner Lunt.
Now just over 1 minute left to go in the half. Play action again. Herbert looking left, almost intercepted. Gabe Segura, the linebacker, got his paws up and on it.
That was a dangerous throw from Caleb Herbert right there. Tried to force that into a window that I don't think existed there, and that is really tough. But it was not intercepted. Definitely not the worst case scenario for the Hawks. Still got a 2nd and 10. You're 35 yards out from the end zone. You need points on this possession going into the half. Give your team some confidence.
2nd and 10, Herbert gives up the middle to Huffman, who gains about 2.
So we got 3rd and 9 coming up here. And now it's going to be up to Caleb Herbert.
And Brock Farrell's going to call a timeout here with 42 seconds to go in the half.
Yeah, it seemed like a lot of time ran off the clock there before he ran that play. That may have been the intention, as you want to, if hypothetically you can't convert on this 3rd down, give them as little time as possible to go out and put together their own drive here at the end of the half.
During the timeout, we'd like to thank Rosati's Chicago-style pizza. Taste the tradition of authentic Italian flavor in every bite. Located at 2235 South Power Road, 1.5 blocks south of Baseline Road in the Kiowa Village Shopping Center. Call 480-214-3233 or order online at rosatispizza.com/Mesa. You can get some tonight in the concessions, fans, if you are here and watching our broadcast. So try some, and thank you, Rosati's, for supporting the Hawks. And again, we'd like to mention with 42 seconds remaining in the half that the senior tribute that was taking place before the game was filmed and will be played at halftime on this live stream.
So once again, they're in that Herbert solo back set here.
Herbert takes the snap out of the gun, looks to his right, was trying to find Tanner Lunt. Hawks fans looking for a PI there.
Yeah, it looked like some bang-bang contact there, although I don't think the throw was too close because it didn't look like he really even had a chance without the contact.
Don J. Logan on the coverage there for Desert Ridge.
And it looks like Brock Farrell will take the conservative route here, send out Austin McNamara to attempt a field goal.
And it looks like that's what it's going to be, and it's going to be about a 50-yard attempt.
Yeah, Caleb Herbert on the hold.
McNamara's kick up. Did it squeak through? No, it did not.
If that had 2 more yards of distance, that was going in. Tough break for the Hawks to end the half. And with 31 seconds, you have to imagine Desert Ridge will run this clock out and go into the half with a 14-0 lead.
That kick, a long line drive. Like you said, Alex, if it had a couple of more yards, the Hawks might be on the board heading into the half here.
Yeah, it's rare that you see a high school kicker even attempt a 50-yard field goal, much less actually knock it through. And, you know, Austin McNamara is a guy we're going to see on a college team someday. He's got a lot of talent. That was just short.
I believe as long as in the 42-43 range, so head coach Brock Farrell definitely extending his range. Flag comes in after that play.
There's plenty of college kickers out there that can't even make 50-yard field goals consistently.
Let's see what the penalty is here. It's a hold on Desert Ridge, which will back him up If not 10 yards, half the distance to the goal, which will make it a 1st and 20.
Yeah, so now they're backed up even further. I think if you're Desert Ridge, you just want to get out of this half. You don't want to make a mistake here when you're this close to your own end zone. A miscue offensively at this stage in the game can result in some easy points for the Hawks.
They've got Matthew Purnell back in the game. As we mentioned, they've been going back and forth between Cooper Schmidt, who started the game, and Purnell, who came in on the second drive, and it's been back and forth ever since.
Schmidt's been a lot more consistent. I think he's gotten a lot less pressure on him as well. They've been trying to run it a lot more when he's in the ball game. So Purnell, maybe you see him air it out here. He's the better passer, but it looks like they're just going to run this clock out and go into halftime.
And with one more second on the play clock than is on the game clock, that is exactly what Desert Ridge will do. And at the half, it's the Jaguars 14 and the Hawks at nothing. So the Jaguars really on offense have been really good. A couple of nice plays, especially on that first drive where Cooper Schmidt and that read option offense was able to get them into the end zone on their first drive.
Yeah, and really, I mean, this game was 7-0. The one bad play there was a deep ball that Dayton Huffman just missed out on, and a nice touchdown for Deontay Elliott earlier. So a first half performance offensively for Highland really struggled. Caleb Herbert missing some easy throws, also consistently still having pressure on him and having a tough time running. So we'll see. It looks like Highland coming off the field second here as they are grouping up together as they come off the field.
So now that it is halftime, we are getting the senior tribute video that took place on the field earlier this afternoon ready. And once we have that prepared, we will make sure to roll it for you with a 15-minute halftime. Looks like we've got it. Thank you, Amanda Foster and Jordan Evans, our producers of tonight's game. And enjoy.
And his two sisters. After graduation, he plans to go on an LDS mission.
Next up, we have number 3 wide receiver Tyrus Bryant. He is escorted by his mother and father, Ken and Lindsay. His plans after graduation, he would like to attend the University of Montana for track and pursue a degree in forestry. His most memorable moment playing football here at Highland was JV. He went for over 300 yards and 2 touchdowns against Gilbert. The two most influential people in his life other than his parents, his grandfather Mark Bryant and his youth group leader Patrick Buck.
Up next, we have Riley Bond. He's escorted by his mom and dad, Ryan and Trisha. After graduation, he hopes to serve a LDS mission. His most memorable moment was Boogie breaking the bed at camp. And the two most influential people in his life is Brandon, his uncle, and his aunt Stephanie.
And our next senior is Darian R.J. Boganway. He is escorted by Nikki Bogan. His plans after graduation, he will be heading to college to study marketing. His most memorable moment playing football here at Highland, it was freshman year, and the Hawks played against Mountain View. One of the Hawks caused the other team's player to fumble, and RJ recovered the ball, leading to the Hawks' win that night. Who are the two most influential people in his life, other than his parents? The McCray family and Coach Davidson. Congratulations, RJ.
Our next senior is Tyler Brady. He's escorted by his Rob and Michelle Brady, and he will be attending the aviation program at ASU. His most memorable moment was being able to be a part of the team this year and having Coach Farrell make this year so exciting on and off the field.
Next up, we have Tyler Brady. Yes, two different people, folks. Escorted by Todd and Tammy Brady. What he will do after graduation, he's going to serve a 2-year mission and then attend a university. His most memorable moment at Highland was seeing Boogie fall through a bed at camp and getting a 100-yard pick sophomore year.
Next up, we have Isaias Chavez. He's escorted by Julia and Ernesto Chavez. After graduation, he hopes to go on a mission, and his most memorable moment at Highland is playing at Highland and was doing 1,300 jumping jacks. That does not sound like a fun, memorable moment. His two most influential people in his life are Miss Rizzo and Miss Smith.
Next up, we've got big defensive end Dallin Clement. He will be escorted by his parents, Jason and Christina. What are his plans after graduation? He will serve a 2-year mission. His most memorable moment here at Highland, playing against Kofa as a sophomore. The two most influential people in his life are Sean Cook and Kyle Peterson.
All right, up now we have Trey Cutchin. He's escorted by David and Stacy Cutchin, who are his parents. After graduation, he hopes to serve a 2-year mission for church and then go to college. His most memorable Highland moment is playing varsity football and baseball at Highland, seeing hard work and determination pay off during the season, and he says it's great and rewarding. His two most influential people in his life are his grandpa Lynn and Ricky, his uncle. Trey Cutchin.
And next up, we have a special honor. We have senior Trey Davis. Trey was, of course, the winner of the Marquise Cooper Scholarship awarded by former Marquise teammate Jesse Hopkins. He is escorted by John and Monica Davis. He, shockingly, plans on serving a 2-year mission for his church and then going to college. His most memorable moment was the tight bonds built with players and coaches. And his most influential people are his grandparents.
And here comes Noah Evans, the one and only. He's escorted by Natalie Evans and Becky Stevens. After graduation, he wants to further his education and build a family. His most memorable moment playing for Highland is playing against Kofa sophomore year. The two most influential people in his life are Tafe Tasey and Becky Stevens. That's Noah Evans, everyone.
Next up, we've got one of the big dogs, Adam Gonzalez. He is escorted by his parents, Denise and Ron. His plans after graduation, he will attend college and pursue a career in business management. His most memorable moment here at Highland, spending every Friday night under the lights with these guys and playing behind our great student section. His two most influential people in his life, his grandfather, Leo, and his sister, Mariah. Ladies and gentlemen, Adam Gonzalez.
And here comes Bryden Horn. He's escorted by his mom and dad. He also hopes to serve a mission after graduation. His most memorable moment is beating Desert Vista in double overtime. His two most influential people are Blake Sanders and Skylar Horn. That's Bryden Horn, everyone.
And next up, we've got Jalen Johnson, the man with 4 interceptions on the season. He is escorted by his parents, Greg and Janessa Johnson. His plans after graduation, he plans to attend college at ASU. Wow, what a great choice. His most memorable moment at Highland was playing Sheezer Chavez last year. And he does not have 2 influential people in his life other than his parents. Ladies and gentlemen, Jalen Johnson.
Here's Austin Karchner. He's escorted by Lee Karchner. And after high school, he plans to go to college, and his favorite memory is California camp. His most influential person is his grandpa, Jeff Benson. That's Austin Karchner.
And next up, we've got Jonah Lomu. He is escorted by Amy Lomu. His plans after graduation, he plans to enlist in the U.S. Air Force. His most memorable moment here at Highland, beating Gilbert High junior year and seeing Coach Red dab on their field. The two most influential people in his life other than his parents are Coach Jason Lyons and Coach Jason Red. Ladies and gentlemen, Jonah Lomu.
And here comes Tanner Lunt out of the tunnel. He's escorted by Rory and Amy Lunt. After graduation, he also attends to serve a mission and going to school. His most memorable moment playing football is making it past the first round of playoffs with his brothers on his team. The two most influential people are Berkeley Lunt, who is grandfather, and his other grandfather, Gail Birkinshaw. That's Tanner Lunt.
And next up, we've got number 74, Davon Marquez, escorted by his mom, Yari Marquez. His plans after graduation, he will attend culinary school, and he wants to open a food truck or a restaurant. And his most memorable moment was seeing Sese Kamuka eat a cockroach for $150 and Saturdays with the boys. The two most influential people in his life, Claudia Davidson and Kyle Davidson. Davon Marquez.
Here comes Elliot Moe, escorted by Eric and Heather Moe. He hopes to attend college and may play football. His most memorable moment is when Boogie thought chocolate milk came from brown cows. I think we all thought that at one point in our lives. His two most influential people in his life are Miss Suzuki and Allie Moe. That's Elliot Moe.
And next up, we've got Nate Nabrotsky, escorted by his mom, Rebecca, and dad, Daniel Nabrotsky. After graduation, Nate plans to go to BYU and then the nice LDS mission and then a nice law school. His most memorable moment here at Highland was the bus ride home from the California camp. It was just incredible. The two most influential people in his life are Josh Nabrotsky, his brother, and the Cart family.
Here comes Levi Peterson out of the tunnel. He's escorted by his mother. After graduation, he hopes he has fun with all his friends before they leave, and he'll get ready for a new chapter of his life. His most memorable moment is starting his senior season 5-0, and all of Boogie's stories. Boogie seems like a hot topic. Two most influential people are Steve Herrera and Janelle McCarthy. That's Levi Peterson.
Next up, we've got Cole Porter, escorted by Dan and Sarah Porter. After graduation, he plans to go on a mission and then attend college for a business degree. His most memorable moment here at Highland, he scored a touchdown freshman year on a fumble recovery. His two most influential people in his life, his uncle Alan Fletcher and his grandpa Glenn Bennett. Ladies and gentlemen, Cole Porter.
Next up is Josh Rogers. He's escorted by Nick Rogers and Tony Rogers, who are his brothers. After graduation, he hasn't decided where he's going to go to college yet, but he wants to major in computer science and then do video game design. His most memorable moment was Sholo Camp and going 5-0 his senior year. The two most influential people are his brothers, Nick and Tony Rogers. Ladies and gentlemen, Josh Rogers.
And next up, we've got Mason Romero, escorted by Eric and Jennifer Romero. After graduation, he plans to join the Air Force Reserve while attending ASU to get a degree. His favorite memory at Highland, being able to play the sport he loves with people that he's been with for 4+ years. Who are the two most influential people in his life? His parents.
Here comes number 24, Hunter Short. He's escorted by Shannon Short and David Short, his parents. After graduation, he wants to go to Kansas University to get a great education. His most memorable moment was when Connor Colmore joined varsity sophomore year, and they instantly became buddies. We are best buds, and he had a little heart next to his name. The two most influential people in his life are his grandma and grandpa, Pam and Gary Hunter. Ladies and gentlemen, that's number 24, Hunter Short.
Next up, we've got Anthony Silva, escorted by parents Lily and Jaime Silva. After graduation, he plans to attend college and major in business. His most memorable moment here at Highland, junior year football camp and spending time with the guys after school. The two most influential people in his life other than his parents, Mr. Matt Harvey and Mr. Christopher Talent. Ladies and gentlemen, Anthony Silva.
Next up is Tate Stevens. He's escorted by his mom and dad, Becky and Jeremy Stevens. After graduation, he also wants to serve a 2-year mission and hopefully play college football. His most memorable moment is Boogie Stories yet again, and when he broke the bed at camp, or when the ceiling fan fell on him when he was sitting on the toilet. His most two influential people in his life are Miss Rizzo and his grandpa Terry. That's Tate Stevens, everyone.
Next up, we've got a fellow starter on the D-line, Jacob Trejo, escorted by Chris and Trisha Trejo. After graduation, he plans to serve a mission and go to college and keep playing football. His most memorable moment playing football at Highland was the homecoming game versus Perry his sophomore year. The two most influential people in his life, other than his parents, Mr. Elliott and Ms. Arroyo. Ladies and gentlemen, Jake Trejo.
Here comes Connor Webster out of the tunnel. He's escorted by his mom and dad, Lori and David. After graduation, he wants to go on a mission and get married and go to school. His most memorable moment is just playing his senior year. The two most influential people in his life are his grandma and uncle, Aaron Dunn and Grandma Dunn. That's Connor Webster.
Next up, Derek Weir, escorted by Rick and Alicia Weir. After graduation, he will attend ASU and major in physics. Most memorable moment here at Highland was Cece eating a cockroach. The two most influential people, his brother Jason and his sister Lexi. Ladies and gentlemen, Derek Weir.
Here comes Malachi West. He's escorted by Lisa Fotu and Kelly Fotu and Monai West. After graduation, he plans to serve a full-time mission for the LDS Church. His most memorable moment is the first varsity game after being injured and out for the season the year before. And in the midst of the student section and the band playing in the background, he realized that this would be his last season to start high school football. The most influential are his family and friends. Ladies and gentlemen, Malachi West.
Next up, we've got Jacob Wilkins, escorted by his parents. After graduation, he will serve an LDS mission and then enlist in the Marines. Most memorable moment here at Highland, going to camp in California. His two most influential people, Bruce Leatham and Chad McLean.
Here comes Connor Williams. He's escorted by Tony and Jill Williams. After graduation, he plans on going to college. His most memorable moment is playing in his first varsity game. The two most influential people in his life are David Otanes and Jeremy Vaught. Ladies and gentlemen, Connor Williams.
We have a special guest here for our next guy, final senior, Jacob Wood, escorted by Mike and Lori Wood. After graduation, he will go on a mission. His favorite memory of football here at Highland is California summer camp. And the influential people in his life are his grandparents, Beth and Chad Coons. That won't be the last time you heard Jacob's name tonight. Jacob Wood, ladies and gentlemen.
And there you have it. Those are your class of 2018 football seniors.
So now we have all the seniors getting together to take a group picture with all their families. Always a nice moment, the annual senior night.
A lot going on missions and a lot going to college after graduation. Make sure you guys stay tuned for the actual game live streamed on our YouTube channel.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'd also like to thank our special platinum sponsor.
And welcome back into the nest. We're almost ready for the second half here between the home Highland Hawks and the visiting Desert Ridge Jaguars. We remind you that if the Jaguars win tonight, they beat Highland, they move to 9-1, and they win their first division title since 2014. And right now it's looking pretty good for Desert Ridge. They're up 14-0 as we're about to start the second half of the game.
Yeah, the halftime numbers compiled by the Twitter account at Gridiron Arizona, so shout out to them. Desert Ridge, 45 rushing yards, 108 yards through the air. Meanwhile, Highland just 35 on the ground and 61 on the air. So Desert Ridge absolutely dominating the yardage numbers. Matthew Purnell had that long touchdown. He is 1 of 2 through the air, with that being his only completion. And at halftime, Caleb Herbert is just 5 of 13 with 61 yards. And the team as a whole has had 12 carries and rushed for just 35 yards. So in the second half, it's going to be imperative that Highland find a way to pick up some of those rushing yards back and try to consistently sustain drives and put some points on the board.
Yeah, Alex, we mentioned at the beginning of the game, we saw Jacob Wood out there for the coin toss, not in uniform, not dressed. Something is wrong with his right knee. We're not sure what that is. However, the Hawks have gone on without him. Managed just a 14-point deficit as we're ready to start the second half. It's 14-0, and Highland will receive the second half kickoff. Ty Bryant will receive it in tiptoe along the sideline. They're going to call him out of bounds at about the 15-yard line.
Yeah, that is a questionable play there. Not sure why you even try to field that with that ball headed out of bounds. They would have gotten the kick at their own 35 had that ball ended up out of bounds on the kickoff. And so that's about a 20-yard difference. And those little things really separate, especially when you're trying to win a close game against a team that on paper is better than you are. And they're again going with that empty set with Caleb Herbert back there with 5 wide receivers spread out. This has been their most successful formation for throwing the ball, so let's see if it works on first down.
Herbert looking to his right and is sacked. Wow. That was a malicious hit. Goodness gracious, number 58, Apollo Ta'asi.
Yeah, that's a big man, 275 pounds. I don't think Herbert ever saw him coming until the last second. That was a big hit. That's a lot of weight to come falling down on you, as Herbert is listed at just 150 pounds.
Well, that's definitely not the guy that we thought would be in there for the first sack of the game for the Jaguars. We thought it'd be Deshae Bennett, averaging 13.5 sacks. Not averaging, excuse me. He has 13.5 sacks on the season. Herbert now has to throw out of the back of his end zone. Completes to Dayton Huffman, who's running across the field. Goes east to west. Huffman got a first down and more, and is pushed out of bounds. Finally, just shy of the 40-yard line.
Yeah, and that was over a 30-yard gain by Dayton Huffman, the man with the flow out there, as you see in the picture on the screen. Great play. Huffman able to get through the first route of defenders, and then was able to cut it back across the field and get a big-time gain. That's a play that will flip the momentum in your favor if you're the Highland Hawks.
So the big gain puts the Hawks in the 1st and 10 at the 38. Herbert with 2 receivers, to his right, 1 to his left, but he's going to give it off to Connor Cullimore, who tries to power it through the gut. Might get 1.
Yeah, that's been the story all night on first down when the Hawks try to run it in between the tackles. There's just nothing doing at all in the interior. I might resort to some short throws maybe on first down instead, because they've just been not able to get that running game working.
See, and that's where Jacob Wood comes into play. That 3-headed monster that we're so used to of Highland is a little bit depleted this week. Herbert looking right, completes a Cullimore, who breaks a tackle and dives across the 40, and that's where they'll mark him down.
Yeah, nice job by Cullimore to avoid that ankle tackle. And really impressed with Desert Ridge's fan section tonight. They brought out a significant amount of students and have been showing some consistent energy throughout this game. as the Hawks face a 3rd down and 8.
Very similar to what we saw in Gilbert last week. The Hawks student section on the road really came out against their crosstown rivals. Seems like number 3 Desert Ridge, has really brought their student section along with them as well. As the pass intended for Elliott Moe goes over his head, incomplete. Coverage on the play by number 4 Carson Brooks.
Yeah, and we've said it multiple times throughout this game. A little bit of a miscue there from Caleb Herbert. He put some good zip on that ball, but once again, just a little bit out of the direction of that receiver. And it's another punt looking like coming up here for the Hawks. And they'll try to pin him deep and hope that their defense can make a play here.
4th and 8 from the 40. As the referees have to call for a new football. Austin McNamara set up at his own 25 to boot it away. Daly Foster back to receive for Desert Ridge. The low snap for McNamara. The kick almost blocked. Foster fair catches at the 21-yard line, and that is where the Jaguars and whatever quarterback they decide to trot out there for the first drive of the second half will set up.
Yeah, it almost looked like that was a predetermined fair catch there for Daly Foster as he waved and signaled for that fair catch well before the ball got there. As Desert Ridge starts their first drive of the second half. I think we saw a lot more success from Cooper Schmidt, at least consistently, although Matthew Purnell had that beautiful deep ball on the 60-yard touchdown.
Looks like that's who's out there to start the second half as well. It's Purnell. So we'll see if Desert Ridge decides to continue to go back and forth between the two quarterbacks. Purnell complete to the near sideline to number 6, Caden Bethel.
Yeah, Bethel, their senior receiver, he's kind of been their rock this whole season, the guy they look to if nobody else is open, and he consistently did a nice job there of catching it and then bringing it back inside, and a tough play, but a nice job by the Hawks to keep him from getting into the second level.
Good tackle there by number 20, Jalen Johnson.
Yeah, Johnson, we haven't said his name a lot, but he's an impact player. If he could force a turnover here, make an interception, that could really shift the tide of this game.
Johnson getting his name onto the broadcast for his senior night. Purnell looking across the middle and is stopped immediately. Is Lucas Wright by number 47, Griffin Nielsen. A nice job.
Yeah, Nielsen, the junior, has really impressed me tonight. He's made some big hits out there, did a nice job there. Form tackle, take him down. But another first down for the Jags.
You know, it seems, Alex, like all of those players out there, and it looks like it on the screen as well, that all of those Desert Ridge players are wearing those play wristbands as Purnell gives to his running back.
Yeah, Desert Ridge definitely one of the most up-tempo teams in the 6A division. They will continue to try to run up the snap, get as many plays as they can in the game to try to keep that Highland defense on the field and wear them out, and they've done so far.
2nd and 7 after the 3-yard rush by Lucas Wright. Purnell and a very similar formation to what we've seen all night from Desert Ridge. Although this time he will keep it himself.
Yeah, nothing doing there for Purnell on that play. He kept it himself on the read option. Highland's done a good job of finding the quarterbacks on those read options when they keep it and taking them down quickly. And they forced another 3rd down here.
3rd and 6 to be exact. Desert Ridge setting up from their own 35. This Hawks side of the stadium has lost a little bit of its oomph. Purnell looking to his left, well, wide open. Caden Bethel across the 45 and tackled at the 47.
Yeah, and once again, Caden Bethel just sits down. They find the pocket in the zone, and Purnell's done a great job of zipping it over to him every chance he gets. And Highland's got to find a way to get off the field on 3rd down. If you can't, there's no chance you're going to be able to win.
They just keep going no huddle on the Hawks here. Purnell calling out an audible. And we'll give on the option again. Lucas Wright gets about 3 yards.
Yeah, and Nielsen and Trejo were both in there on that stop. Trejo especially is going to be a guy who you're going to have to watch on every play on these runs, because if he's able to push, he's got that big club on his hand there. Obviously, he's got a broken finger or a broken hand. Tough guy, obviously, to be playing through that. And he's got to be able to use that power and get penetration in the backfield.
Just under 6.5 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Purnell looking right, able to evade the pressure at first, but then sacked by Tyler Brady. And also Noah Evans in there.
Yeah, Brady did a great job of delayed blitz there, came around the edge and quickly shut down the throwing lanes for Matthew Purnell, forcing him to try to tuck that, and did a nice job wrapping him up, forcing another third down.
Well, it's been a weakness so far of this Hawks defense for them to stop that third down. Purnell looking to pass, finds right on the screen, and he stops short of the first down. Close to the 45-yard line of the Hawks. Looks to be about 4th and 3 or 4 yards.
Yeah, Colmore did a nice job recognizing the screen, coming up, getting around the offensive linemen who were all setting up to cover some ground for him, and Colmore did a nice job getting there, stopping him short of the marker, and forcing a punt for the Jags.
Weinberg back to punt for the Jaguars. Got plenty of time. A nice end-over-end punt that Cullimore is going to let bounce again. And again, it's a great punt by Cameron Weinberg that the Hawks.
I mean, Cameron Weinberg may be my MVP so far in this game. His first punt should have been down for inside the 1-yard line, and it was a miscue from the Desert Ridge punt coverage unit. Second time, they did not make that mistake. Stopped him at the 1. This time, stopping him at the 5. That's about as good as it gets. Reminds me of Marquette King with the Oakland Raiders, able to just consistently pin guys inside the 10-yard line. That's the sign of an elite punter.
And yes, ladies and gentlemen, punters are athletes, and they are players, and they are people too. So treat them with the same amount of respect that you treat the rest of these players, because sometimes those guys are really underappreciated.
But not the kickers, though, right?
And the kickers maybe not so much, as Herbert is swallowed up at around the 5.
Yeah, and that's a consistent theme we've seen a lot of this season. Caleb Herbert's pocket quickly shuts down there. He has to try to pull it down, make a play with his feet, and not able. This is a talented defensive line for Desert Ridge. And no gain on that play.
Deshae Bennett there on the tackle. The first time I think we've been able to mention his name on the broadcast.
Yeah, he hasn't gotten any sacks tonight, but I think he's been putting some consistent pressure coming off that right edge.
Yeah, Bennett's their guy. Their outside linebacker, also plays a little bit of fullback.
Yeah.
6'2", 215-pound senior.
Nate Nabrotsky's got his hands full with that young man.
Herbert from his own end zone, looking right and down the field, looking for Connor Cullimore, but Caleb Herbert just overthrew him. That's a heartbreaker there.
Yeah, Cullimore had a lot of green grass in front of him. That is another tough miss from Caleb Herbert. It's been a consistent theme all night. I don't know how many times I'm going to repeat myself on this, but Cullimore had that, and Herbert just missed.
Maybe he might have been feeling the pressure in his own end zone. Felt like he had to put one out there. He definitely had Cullimore, just overthrew him by a smidge.
Well, yeah, and there's no doubt that's better than taking a sack in the end zone and a safety.
Here we are, 3rd and 10. Herbert to pass again out of his own end zone. He's got to make something happen, but he is sacked at around the 3-yard line.
Yeah, there's no time for Caleb Herbert. He's got no time to make any plays. I mean, the kid is talented. He's got a great arm. He's a little bit off on the accuracy, but he makes big throws when he needs to. But tonight, he's just been unable to connect.
So now Austin McNamara is going to have to punt out of the back of his own end zone. And the way that these punt coverages have gone, this may not end well for Highland.
Yeah, it's a tough.
That
for
special
our-
team squad for Desert Ridge has really been penetrating Highland's offensive line. The punt will get away, however. Fair caught at around the 44-yard line.
Yeah, there's no doubt there that there was a plan in place to fair catch that ball, as he had a lot of green grass in front of him for Daly Foster, and he decided to fair catch that at the 44. So for Desert Ridge, you're starting in Highland territory. You can't ask for a much better field position, and your defense has just answered the bell all night long. And as we see,
Looks like Purnell, and it is. However, he gives to, looks like Lucas Wright. Correction, that was Deontay Elliott.
Yeah.
Elliott had that nice catch in the first half of the touchdown.
yeah, I've had a 60-yard touchdown. Right there, they gave it to him on the handoff. Minimal gain, however. And we're already under 3 minutes left in this third quarter.
Yeah, 2:45 remaining as the handoff doesn't really go anywhere that time. Deontay Elliott again.
Yeah, and once again, hats off to this Highland front seven. This is a group, a lot of seniors in this group, and they've answered the bell tonight. This is an incredible Desert Ridge offense, a lot of really talented players, and they've been able to stifle that running game. Their offense has just not delivered in return.
So we were wondering if we were going to see Cooper Schmidt on this drive. Desert Ridge elected to keep with Matthew Purnell, who faces a 3rd and 9. From the 42, Purnell looking to his left. He's got room to run, being chased down, but he's going to get the first down. The ball came out. Did it come out on contact, or was he on the ground? Looks like they're going to call Purnell down.
Yeah, and Tate Stevens pleading his case there. Tough to see whether his knee was down before that ball came out. No doubt that would have been a Highland recovery had that been called a fumble. And as you hear, the Boo Birds coming out on that call. That's a tough break for the Hawks.
Couple of fans shouting that the referee was not in position. I can see where that would be the case. He was running up the sideline after the play.
Yeah, it's tough in high school football. You know, in college and the NFL, I think we take for granted instant replay and how beneficial it is to ensuring calls get made correctly. But in high school, the referees are just relied on to make the call on the field, and there's no way you can challenge or try to overturn a call. And Brock Farrell not going to be happy with whatever that referee is telling him right now.
Well, both teams seem to be pleading their case. They're going to replay the down, which is extremely odd.
Yeah, this is an interesting development here. She makes some compelling arguments from the fans up here that the game on the field is indeed not volleyball.
This may be the most bizarre thing that I've seen this season. Purnell looking across the middle now. Incomplete. And they're going to throw a flag. That's a horrible call. I'm sorry. But that is a really bad pass interference call, or what you can assume is going to be a pass interference call.
Yeah, and it looked like that was a tough bang-bang play. Aiden Lee got in there, hit him with the shoulder.
Aiden Lee, the intended receiver.
Yes. Looked like Connor Collimore was there to make the hit on that play.
And I mean, for something like that to happen on a replay down when they couldn't make the they couldn't make the absolute correct decision on the play previous is just really an interesting couple of plays there.
It's been a bizarrely officiated game. It's been a bizarre game to watch up here in the stands. And here we are, 1st and 10. Desert Ridge got the ball in opposing territory. And now we need another conference for the officials because apparently it takes more than one to make a consistent decision. Now it's illegal formation or a false start against the Jaguars.
That gives them 5 yards back, but I mean,
it's been a perplexing series here for the officiating.
I'm very confused up here in the booth. I mean, we've been watching this team all year, and I haven't seen anything even similar to that. I've never seen a referee replay a down because they weren't in position to make
I'll tell you
the
the
correct
nice
call.
thing about JV football, at least you're able to hear the referee. Here you can't hear anything.
Purnell gives. The ball's out again. They're going to mark him down that time.
Tackle on the play by number 46.
Tyrese Allen, the ball carrier there.
Yeah, Allen had that first touchdown for Desert Ridge, and Noah Evans once again. Tough play there. Noah Evans does a nice job wrapping him up.
Second down and 15.
Creeping to the 1 minute mark left to go in the third quarter. This one's getting late pretty early. 14-0 in favor of the Jaguars. Purnell on the screen again. Completes to Wright, who is stopped by Connor Cullimore around the 30.
Yeah, Connor Cullimore trying to do it himself here. You saw he was visibly frustrated on that deep ball that was just overthrown past him. You know he's trying to make some plays here and get things done for himself. Another long third down for Desert Ridge here. We'll see if the Hawks can finally get off the field and put some pressure on Matthew Purnell.
30 seconds to go in the third. Matthew Purnell in shotgun formation with Lucas Wright to his left. Purnell fires across the middle, incomplete. A nice diving play made by number 22, Mason Romero.
And that brings up fourth down and 13.
Yeah, Mason Romero does a great job leaping out there and knocking that pass down. I'm not sure if that would have been completed anyway. It looked like it might have ended up bouncing off the turf, but
With 17 seconds remaining, the Jaguars are going to keep their offense out there on a 4th and 13. Not sure what the mindset on this one is.
well, you do have a comfortable lead that you can afford to play a little bit and try to, go out there.
Oh, and they got Highland to jump, so it'll give them an extra 5 yards to work with.
Yeah, this will still be a 4th and 8. And that may have honestly been just to try to set up the field goal kicker with a more comfortable kick, and that appears to be the way they are going here. So a smart play by the Desert Ridge offense to get an extra 5 yards and set themselves up with what looks like about a 42-yard field goal attempt, which is still a pretty good distance for a high school kicker.
Logan Stevens out to attempt the field goal. We're waiting for the snap. There it is. It's up. It is blocked. The kick is blocked. And Highland recovers. Or did they?
Oh, and there's a lot.
Now there's a flag.
Yeah, that was a late hit there from a Desert Ridge player. It looked like there was some commotion on the fumble recovery. You hate to see when those guys dive in on a pile when a guy is lying flat on the ground. We saw that just the other night with Joe Flacco and Kiko Alonso in the Ravens-Dolphins game, a brutal hit on the quarterback. And looks like the referee's going to try to sort out all that commotion.
What we do know is that it is Hawks football. And they're going to call a personal foul against the Jaguars, which will give Highland an extra 15 yards from where they recovered that blocked field goal.
Yeah, and following that big play there, can Caleb Herbert ride that momentum and finally get his team in the end zone? As it looks like he'll again line up in a wide formation. He actually goes under center, it looks like here.
Herbert, the end around to Cullimore on the play action to Huffman. Cullimore dives across the 45, you might have gotten back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, Deshae Bennett did a great job chasing Cullimore down, coming off the other side, and he was able to knock him down. And that brings us to the end of the third quarter, Jordan.
This one's been a wild one. That third quarter was definitely something I've never seen before. I mean, we're still at the same score that we were at coming out of the half, 14-0 in favor of the visiting Desert Ridge Jaguars. But goodness, was that one of the most confusing quarters and sequence of events in a football game that I've ever seen.
Yeah, you'd have to imagine that there was a review of these officials. That would be that last 3 or 4 minutes of the half would really be something that you would want more information on, as there was a lot of just not necessarily wrong calls, but calls that would really be something that you'd want to take another look at. And nevertheless, 12 minutes remaining in this game. Highland down by 2 touchdowns. It's very simple. Highland's got to put the ball in the end zone on this drive. If they don't, they risk losing. The way Desert Ridge has run the football in this game, they'll be able to continue to run the clock out.
Well, and you have to recall, Alex, the last time that we were in this situation, Highland was at home. Highland was playing a team that was better than them in Desert Vista, and Highland pulled out 2 late touchdowns to send the game to overtime, scored a touchdown, Desert Vista scored a touchdown, and then Austin McNamara came out and kicked the winning field goal. They won 24-21, so this team has proven that nothing is impossible.
Yeah, and maybe some of that magic carry over from a couple weeks ago at Marquise Cooper night as the Hawks rallied for that double overtime victory. But this is going to fall on the shoulders of the quarterback here. It's Caleb Herbert's time. Hopefully be a little bit better than the original Red Rifle, Andy Dalton.
Whistle is blown, and we will start the fourth quarter. Herbert in shotgun formation. Looks like Riley Bond is the man in motion. Herbert looking over the middle of the field, and there's some contact there. It's intercepted, however, by Desert Ridge, and they might just take this one all the way back. That's Don J. Logan, who's finally tackled down around the 20. Goodness gracious. Another odd sequence of events there taking place on the field. We thought there would have been some kind of penalty on the near side of the field, but the ball just intercepted.
Well, now I do see the reasoning from the officials there, and it looks like they're going to get a flag on Highland here for some jawing with the officials. As you can hear the distaste from this Highland crowd. On that play, it looked like Elliott Moe thought that throw was going to go to the outside, and he was going to go for it. Caleb Herbert threw it inside, and that was not a catchable ball for Elliott Moe. He still got lit up, and that was a questionable hit in the secondary, but that ball was going to be intercepted no matter what. That ball was almost thrown right to Don J. Logan. So that's Caleb Herbert's first big mistake of this game, and it's going to end up being a really costly one, especially as his offense ended up getting a personal foul at the conclusion of that play.
So Desert Ridge, after the penalty, will be spotted at the 11-yard line. So after a pick that was intercepted around the 10-yard line, I got almost 90 yards out of that. Or 80 yards, excuse me. They'll hand it to Lucas Wright, and Wright on one play puts the ball into the end zone for a Desert Ridge touchdown.
Yeah, and you can see the dejection on the body language of these Highland defenders. That is an incredibly tough break on the offense to get a deep ball like that, intercept and return so far. And then the first play, just Lucas Wright able to break a tackle and find his way into the end zone. And there's still 11 and a half minutes left in this game, but it's a long way to go for the Hawks to come back and try to win this game.
The extra point is up and through the uprights. So the Jaguars make it a 21-0 game on the 11-yard rush by Lucas Wright.
Yeah, and just a quick score update from that game we were talking about earlier. Gilbert and Mountain Point now tied at 23 in the third quarter. So a hotly contested game between those two squads, and obviously that game has some implications for this division. But in order for Mountain Point to win the 6A Central region, they would need a win and a Highland comeback here over Desert Ridge. Otherwise, it looks like Desert Ridge is locking up the 6A Central.
Yeah, Gilbert making it interesting against Mountain Ridge. Really trying to push themselves into that playoff.
Yeah, Gilbert, a team a lot of people overlooked in the last couple of weeks. They fought Highland and only lost by 8. And tonight they're battling Mountain Point, a team that was in the state finals last year in 6A.
Just a couple of weeks ago, Highland was defeated by Mountain Point 14-13. Just a week after losing to number 1 overall Perry.
Yeah, the Desert Ridge student section starting the "I believe we will win" chant. Maybe a little early for that, but with a 3-touchdown lead in the fourth quarter. Haven't been many instances where a team's been able to come back from that.
Stevens kicks it away, and it's going to be Highland who receives it. That's Tanner Lunt. Just kidding, Dayton Huffman. Huffman gets a little extracurricular after the play. No flags, however. It's just a very, very emotional game. And now there looks to be a flag on the play.
Yeah, down at about the 35-yard line. We'll see what this is. It was away from the play, so I would imagine. And it's a personal foul against the Hawks, I would imagine, for a clip or some kind of illegal block. But
I mean,
15 yards back, when you're trying to start an offensive drive and try to climb back from a 3-touchdown deficit, that is not the way you want to start the drive, is losing 15 yards.
so Highland's got to get started at the 20 now. Herbert looking left, completes.
Catch on play number 84, Zach Gastineau.
84, Zach Gastineau on the reception. First time we've mentioned his name.
That may be the first time we've mentioned him the whole season. I'm not sure if we've seen him make a catch. Great job by Zach. Herbert, nice job there to get the drive going with just a short 5-yard completion. Build some confidence back after that interception. Again, like I said earlier, short-term memory is key. He's going to have to come back and keep making those throws down the field and try to connect on 1 or 2 of them.
Just under 11 minutes to go. 10:43. Herbert looking to his right, complete to Cullimore, who's tackled just shy of the 40 at the 39.
Yeah, big first down there. Connor Cullimore, a great job stopping down, catches that curl, and then is able to put his head down and get a couple extra yards. A phenomenal job there by Cullimore. Gets the Hawks another first down.
10:26 to go. 1st and 10 from the 38. Here in the fourth quarter of a ball game that has major, major implications in the 6A. Herbert over the middle, complete. That's Elliott Moe for a first down.
Yeah, Moe, the intended receiver on that last interception. Nice job by him making the catch, and that puts Highland into Desert Ridge territory with just about 10 minutes to go here.
Herbert looking for some time, has to evade the pressure, gets out of there and just has to shovel it away to Cullimore, who's able to make something out of nothing, streaking up the sideline and into the end zone. Let's see if they call him out of bounds. They will call him out of bounds, but it's a matter of where they do so. The play is coming back quite a long way. Let's see where they mark him.
Yeah, that was some rare improvisational ability from the Highland offense, quarterback Caleb Herbert. He was getting taken down. There's a penalty marker at the 42-yard line of Desert Ridge.
Well, they're going to move the play all the way back to where it started.
These officials may need armed guards to get out of this stadium tonight, as we have a lot of unhappy campers here on the Highland side.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be getting out of here as soon as they possibly can after this one. Highland fans not happy. 9:41 to go. After what we thought was a big play from Cullimore. Herbert completes over the middle to
Catch by number 19,
Cody Zimmerman.
So Highland working some new receivers into the scheme, it looks like. As the last two guys we've seen Zimmerman and also Gastineau make some catches. And right here you see Noah Burdick, number 13, lined up at the bottom of your screen here on the left side. Look for them to possibly send him deep. He had a big touchdown in that double OT win against Desert Vista a couple weeks ago.
Zimmerman moves to Herbert's left. Herbert now looking to that side, trying to find Zimmerman, and he does. And he's knocked out of bounds around the 33.
Great catch by Cody Zimmerman there. They ran two guys up. They had Burdick go down the field to open up the out route for Zimmerman, and Caleb Herbert put that ball exactly where it needed to be. And that's a big gain for the Hawks. And finally, no penalties, a first down secured for Highland.
Now, there actually was a penalty on the play, but it did benefit the Hawks. Caleb Herbert took a big hit after that play, and Desert Ridge called for a roughing the passer penalty.
Yeah, we've seen quite a few personal fouls tonight, as this intensity is not swayed despite the score.
Let's see what Highland's got here. Seems like it's the first time that they've been in the red zone the whole game. It might even be the first time they've been in the red zone the whole game. Herbert from the 18-yard line and just under 9 minutes to go. Completes over the middle. Again, that's Cody Zimmerman.
Yeah, that was a great timed throw there. That easily could have been intercepted, and he zipped it just past the DB and got that completed for 7 yards.
2nd and 3, 8:30 remaining in the ball game. Highland still down by 3 touchdowns, that is, not points.
But this is their first drive where they've really pushed deep into Desert Ridge territory.
Herbert looking right, and he is absolutely walloped.
Yeah, and a flag came in on the snap. I would imagine this might be an illegal formation or illegal shifts penalty.
Goodness gracious.
Excuse me, no penalty marker.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I didn't catch the number of that defender for Desert Ridge, but goodness gracious.
Another big hit on Caleb Herbert.
Gabe Segura, we're hearing, is the man who made that hit. It's a hard one to take.
Yeah, and once again, they've got a trio of receivers out to the right, and Elliott Moe down here in the bottom, lined up on the outside. Looks like possibly in one-on-one coverage.
Backs the Hawks up to a 3rd and 10. They'll have to do a halfback screen. Cullimore looking for some space to run, and is tackled by the ankles just inside the 15. Brings up a 4th and 5. Let's see what Brock Farrell elects to do here. I would think the offense stays on the field.
Yeah, at this stage in the game, a punt is really out of the question. You got to go for the end zone.
It's a big play with 7 minutes remaining, down by 3 touchdowns. Herbert trying to will his team into the end zone for the first time the whole game. Brock Farrell is going to call a timeout and have a discussion with his team about what he wants to do here.
Yeah, better to be safe rather than sorry on a drive like that. Especially with this much riding on this 4th down, you do not want to call a play or have a delay a game and push yourself back and make it even harder to convert. And if I'm Brock Farrell here, you have to be looking to get the ball to either Elliott Moe or Tanner Lunt if you're passing, or Connor Cullimore if you can find a way to work him maybe out of the slot, run a little in and out route and try to get him open in a one-on-one matchup. On 4th down, you got to get the ball to your hands of your best player. And on 4th and 5, that's got to be Connor Cullimore unless you throw it down the field.
Looks like both teams are, or at least Highland is ready to get back out onto the field. So here it is, 4th and 5 from the 13, trailing by 21. Herbert sends his running back Cullimore out wide to the right, looking to complete. Did he get enough? That's Noah Burdick. And they'll give it to him. It's a first down.
Yeah, Burdick, nice job on that short curl route. Herbert, he's been able to hit those short throws with a lot of consistency, but has not been able to hit the ball down the field. Now here, 1st and goal, you have to imagine they're going to find a way to get the ball into Connor Cullimore's hands.
Cullimore on the play action. Has to find some way to get away from the pressure. Throws towards the corner. Incomplete, and Dayton Huffman might be hurt. He's not. Everything is okay over there.
There is a
In the
penalty
end zone, but
marker.
there's a penalty flag.
And it's an ineligible man downfield against the Hawks. So that is a tough break. Not terribly surprising considering how that play broke down. And Caleb Herbert, really impressive his footwork. It's what I've been most amazed with, I think, this season is his ability in the pocket to get away from pressure. It's something you rarely see from quarterbacks at this stage in their career, especially ones who are in their first year starting on varsity. Herbert didn't even start the season as this Highland starting quarterback. He's done an incredible job being able to avoid the pressure and get out of a lot of tough situations.
Herbert on 1st and goal. I'll have to replay it after the ineligible man downfield penalty. Herbert looking for the end zone. Almost completed to Tanner Lunt. No penalty flags on the play.
There definitely was some contact as Tanner Lunt ran that slant route. Now, whether it was bang-bang, obviously in the end zone, that's a tough call to make for the officials. And at 2nd and goal from the 11, this is obviously four down territory for Highland as they try to get some kind of touchdown on the board.
6 minutes and 23 seconds to go after the incomplete pass. The clock is stopped. Chances looking bleak for Highland. They'll have to get into the end zone right here, right now. They give the ball to Cullimore, who gets to the outside on the near sideline.
Yeah, and that's what you want there on 2nd down. Obviously, if you're going to end up going for a touchdown anyway, get it a little bit closer, be able to set yourself up. And I would imagine it's going to be Connor Cullimore up the middle here or some kind of creative play action like they did a few plays ago.
3rd and goal now, under 6 minutes to go. Ball marked at the 4. Herbert under center. Play action under pressure, and Herbert sacked. Oh my goodness. By number 22, Tyrese Allen. Correction, that's number 20, Gabe Segura.
Nothing you want less on a 3rd down and goal than a long sack that pushes you outside behind the 10-yard line. And it's a long 4th down and goal here from the 14-yard line. Caleb Herbert is going to have to find some kind of opening in the end zone. This Desert Ridge defense has not given him very many windows to throw.
Herbert looking right. Across the middle, Tanner Lunt, did he make the play? Yes, he did. That's Connor Cullimore. Right between the A and the W in the end zone that spells out Hawks. And the Hawks are finally on the board here with just about 5 minutes to go in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, and Herbert, a nice throw there to lead Connor Cullimore, and Cullimore able to go down and make that catch. And with just about 5 minutes remaining in this game, not a lot of time left for Highland. They're going to need this, and they're probably going to need an onside kick here, but a nice start.
McNamara's extra point is up and good. So this Hawks team finally showing a little bit of life.
For everything you can say about this team, the one thing that is above all else, they fight to the last whistle. They have not given up in any of their games this season. They have continued to fight, continued to battle for all 4 quarters. Tonight, they just have not had enough on the offensive end to be able to counteract this tough Desert Ridge defense.
They're going to need a couple 3 and outs, I mean, ideally, that's what you draw up, but with the way that this Desert Ridge offense has been working tonight, that may not happen. And while they've moved the ball downfield quite briskly, I would have to think that Desert Ridge is going to try to take as much time off this clock as possible.
Yeah, this is where Austin McNamara could really make a name for himself. He can make a good onside kick here, and his hands unit. Look for Connor Cullimore on the outside trying to get to this ball as they try to bounce it up. Oh.
So the onside kick is what they go to. Don J. Logan is the man on the hands team for Desert Ridge to recover the kick.
Yeah, and that was a tough play for Highland. Cullimore came in and leveled the recovery guy there for Don J. Logan for Desert Ridge. And with 1st and 10 from their own 47, unless Highland can get a quick stop here, this game appears to be out of reach.
Well, if the score holds, the Jaguars will win their first division title since 2014 as they hand it off to Logan Wright. Who is tackled just past the 45-yard line.
And just a tough day all around for this Highland defense. They've played really well, in my opinion, but just not enough. Their offense not able to give them enough opportunities tonight. Shout out to all of them, especially the seniors out there who have played really hard all season long.
Well, and you got to think for Highland, this isn't the end. They've had a phenomenal season, ranked number 6 coming into this game as there's a penalty flag down on the field.
Yeah, they're still likely to finish in the top 10 in 6A, so they're a lock for the playoffs, obviously with 7 wins. But we'll see tomorrow morning where they end up being seated as the brackets will be released. As we get a timeout. So 4:26 remaining in this ball game. The Highland defense been on the field most of this night. The offense has just been unable to control the time of possession. And when you look back at the box score of a lot of these football games, especially at the high school level, the team that's got the ball longer a lot of times comes away the winner. And tonight that has just been the case as Desert Ridge has manhandled the clock. And up front, they have just been able to make enough plays to put themselves in position to win this game. And their defense was absolutely phenomenal.
So the snap taken and given to Deontay Elliott. Ball's loose. Who recovered it? If Highland has it, this game might have just become intriguing again. Highland says they have it. And they're going to give it to him. So Highland showing some life here. Never say die is his team, coached by Brock Farrell.
Yeah, that was an amazing, that looked like a long play there for Deontay Elliott. He ends up coughing that football up at the end of it. And that could be pivotal here. We'll see with just over 4 minutes left. If Herbert can get a couple deep balls down the field, get out of bounds, stop the clock, there's time if they get a touchdown here and then get the ball back and score again. We could see another overtime situation like we saw a few weeks ago.
And boy, would that be an upset.
Especially with how this game has gone so far.
Got to get the little things to go right first. As Herbert looks over the middle to the right side and finds a receiver. That's Elliott Moe for the first down, and they'll move the chains.
Yeah, great play by Elliott Moe. And get that drive going. Got to keep getting up to the line. This is about up-tempo offense. Get on the ball. Make quick plays down the field.
Hurry-up offense in effect as they give the ball to Huffman, who tries to get to the far side. and will be pushed out of bounds. And they're going to call a late hit after the play. So some more extracurricular activities by Desert Ridge here, going to give the Hawks some extra yardage.
Yeah, it looked like Dayton Huffman might have gotten knocked down there or slipped. It was hard to tell. But he definitely went to the ground after he had already been pushed out of bounds. And so quick flag throw there for the officials and an extra 15 for the Hawks.
Possibly a little flop there by Dayton Huffman, but it works, and this isn't basketball, so I mean there's no technical foul for intentionally flopping.
It's got the Spurs 5 championships, hasn't it?
Herbert with just under 4 minutes to go, down by 14, looking to his left, and he's going to be sacked by number 52, Christian Medeiros.
Yeah, and this has been a long night for Caleb Herbert. When he's had opportunities to throw it down the field, he has not hit consistently on those throws, and when he doesn't have time, he just is getting eaten alive by a strong Desert Ridge defensive line.
They're going to have to get to the line quickly here with 3.5 minutes to go. Herbert takes the snap from shotgun, looking to his right. Has a man open and almost intercepted. That almost spelled trouble. Pass intended for Tanner Lunt, Herbert's favorite target when he's looking for those deep balls.
Yeah, and it brings up a 3rd and very long here, 17 yards away from that first down. You'd have to imagine this is going to be some kind of a vertical route here. Look for maybe Noah Burdick as they got trips lined up on the right side. As maybe Connor Cullimore is lined up in the slot, stacked behind Noah Burdick.
And we saw Cullimore make that nice sprawling touchdown catch as Herbert is under pressure again. Has to throw it away, incomplete. 4th and 17, and this one may be locked away.
I mean, it almost seems like the offensive line's sometimes just letting the pass rush get through there as Herbert just has to run for his life almost as soon as that ball touches his hands.
Highland undefeated at home this season. Loss at the hands of Desert Ridge will be their first home loss this year. Both of their losses came on the road, the first at Perry, the second at Mountain Point. Herbert on 4th down, looking deep down the near sideline. Incomplete. However, a flag on the play. Herbert was looking for Zach Gastineau.
Yeah, and there was definitely some contact, although that ball also looked pretty uncatchable as it went out of bounds. Gastineau didn't even attempt to make a play on it. This could be defensive holding. I don't think it'd be pass interference.
Well, if it were a defensive holding, we'd be looking at 4th and 7. And a replay of down. So let's see what the officials elect to do. It's a pass interference penalty, and it'll be a 15-yard penalty. So 4th and 2 with 3 minutes and 1 second to go in the ballgame.
Yeah, and look for a possible screen here to Ty Bryant maybe as they stack on the right side.
And that was very close. Did they get it? Doesn't look like it. Connor Cullimore is the receiver there. Don J. Logan.
And they'll give it
in
to
on
him.
the tackle. Wow, they're going to give it to him. A very interestingly officiated game tonight here between these two powerhouses in 6A. 2:41 remaining. Herbert on 1st down over the middle, incomplete, looking for either Ty Bryant or Riley Bond.
Yeah, did a nice job getting up to the line quickly and calling that play, but another miscue there. 29 yards between Highland and the end zone as it's really desperation time.
2nd and 10 from the 29. 2:37 remaining in the ball game. Caleb Herbert trying to miraculously will his team to their 5th win of the season at home, as the deep ball is a little bit too deep for Tanner Lunt.
Yeah, that one looked like it could have been a miscommunication. Herbert, might have thought that Lunt was going to continue down the field there and tried to just loft that to the back of the end zone, but there was not a man to be found. So 3rd and 10.
2 minutes and 30 seconds, as that one shaves off about 7 seconds, Herbert in a deep shotgun. Looking to his right, knocked away. A nice play by number 40, Chase Thompson.
Yeah, and Thompson, we talked about him before the game. The team's leading tackler, a senior, and a leader significantly on this defense. Comes up with a big diving play there, knock that ball away, and force another long 4th down for Highland.
4th and 10, 2:25 to go. And you can hear it from all the way over here, that big Desert Ridge student section making some noise for their football players, Highland's going to need a nice play here for a 1st down. Herbert on play action, under pressure, evades it, throws it down the sideline, almost completed to Connor Cullimore. No flag on the play. A nice job by, is that number 2, Braille Lipford out there?
Yeah, it appeared to be there as Caleb Herbert almost tripped there on that play and went down himself and then was nearly taken down, was able to evade it, jump out, and just tried to throw it kind of as a jump ball there and nearly pulled down by Cullimore.
So after the turnover on downs, 2:17 to go in the ball game. So Desert Ridge will likely look to run the ball a couple of times, get a couple of 1st downs. As they do here, it's Lucas Wright.
Nielsen made the stop there.
Looked like one of the Desert Ridge players tried to throw a pretty dirty block on the outside. Didn't end up getting it down, but definitely could have been a clipping call there.
Yeah, it looks like a Highland timeout here.
And while we have the chance on this last broadcast of the season, the Highland Hawks boosters would like to thank the following dads for painting the field for every Highland home game this season: Brian McNamara, Mike Krisman, Brent Brown, Brett Emke, Butch Holman, Eric Moe, Kevin Trail, and Tyler Treese. It takes 3 to 6 hours each time to paint the field. It's absolutely amazing what these football dads do, coming out here and preparing the field for these big Friday night showdowns, because these kids absolutely tear it up.
Well, how about not just the dads, but let's give some credit to the moms. I mean, the moms of these kids having to drive them. A lot of these kids don't have cars. Got to drive back and forth to practice, go to these long games, take them to all these crazy tournaments and camps and practices all over the place, all over the valley. And if you're going to play high school football, you need a lot of dedication from your own parents. And we see that on display every day here at Highland.
Desert Ridge takes the snap, and it's another give to Wright, who stopped in the backfield. 2 minutes and 3 seconds to go. Connor Cullimore in on the tackle for the Hawks.
Yeah, Cullimore fired up here at the end of this game. He really wanted to bring a win home for his brothers in the senior class, as Highland has to use its final timeout.
Now it's 3rd and 11 here, so I mean, if you're Desert Ridge, I don't think you put the ball in the air, with the risk of it being A, intercepted, 2, incompleted for the clock to stop. I mean, if I'm the Jaguars, I'm thinking about another run, try to get to the outside with Lucas Wright.
Yeah,
just burn some more time off the clock.
At this point, I'm not even sure why they're running it to the outsides. You really just got to kind of run it up the middle and just power football. Try to run the rest of this clock out here as we've got just over 2 minutes remaining.
So the ball marked at the 28-yard line of the Jaguars, 3rd and 11. Two minutes and 3 seconds to go as we get back to the action on the field. Purnell takes the snap and is going to rush right up the middle. Gains about 5 yards and is able to shave some more time off the clock as we are now under the 2-minute mark.
Yeah, 4th down here. And I would imagine it's punt time for Desert Ridge.
Brings it last for that Highland Hawks marching band. Nicely done.
A minute 30 now. 21-7 in favor of the Jaguars. As Desert Ridge is going to take their second timeout of the half.
Not sure why they called for a timeout there, but maybe to just talk things over before what I would imagine be their final offensive play here of the night.
I mean, on 4th and 4, I would assume you obviously want to get it through and into first down territory. The student section giving a nice Highland Hawks chant for their team. Amanda, they give it their all tonight. This Desert Ridge team is a tough team that came in. This is a team that we've seen put up way more than 21 points against some opponents. I believe they've put up more than 60 on one occasion. They're going to punt it away. It will bounce at the 15, and another, oh my goodness, another beautiful punt by Cameron Weinberg. All of his punts tonight have been downed, seems like inside the 10, except for the one that ended up being a touchback.
Yeah, if the ladies were ever to love a punter, it'd be this guy right here, as he has consistently pinned Highland deep in their own territory. And if you had to give away a couple game balls tonight, one of them might be to Cameron Weinberg.
Weinberg, absolutely. Alex has done a great job, as you said, pinning the Hawks deep inside their own territory. Herbert's got to look right, completes. Tackled around the 15.
Yeah, nice short gain on that play as Highland just tries to get some yardage here. Play with some pride as the clock dwindles down, excuse me.
Over the middle, complete to Noah Burdick. As they have to stop the clock to move the chains, 48 seconds to go. And Caleb Herbert's going to take the snap and spike it. Stop the clock one more time.
Yeah,
Second and 10.
As Highland is out of timeouts, that's the smart play to try to get that clock stopped. Only a couple seconds run off after the first down, so last drive here for Highland as they go 2 wide receivers on each side and a running back.
Herbert looking to his left and completes to Elliott Moe. Not enough for the first down. It'll be about 3rd and 2. We can basically put this one away, Alex, with just 28 seconds remaining now, as Herbert completes to Ty Bryant, who gets out of bounds.
And that appeared to be enough for a first down and able to stop the clock on the out of bounds.
So with the loss, the Hawks will move to 7-3, their first home loss of the season. As we mentioned, the other 2 losses this year, both on the road, once to Perry and once to Mountain Point. Desert Ridge will move to 9-1, and with the win, clinches a division championship for the first time since 2014.
Yeah, nice catch by Mo there to get his toes dragged, get the first down.
19 seconds remaining as the Hawks are efficiently working their way down the field. A little bit too late. Herbert looking left again, almost intercepted. The receiver there didn't turn around, trying to make the play. It's Elliott Moe again.
Carson Brooks was there to knock it down for Desert Ridge. Didn't even try to go for the interception.
3rd and 2, 15 seconds remaining as the clock ticks down. Herbert looking for the sideline, incomplete. Elliott Moe got hit hard there again. 9 seconds now.
Yeah, that was a big shot there on Elliott Moe here at the end of this game, and it'll be his final game here. Unless they get a home playoff game, it'll be his final regular season game here at Highland.
We'll have a quick post-game show for you after this ball game concludes in 9 football seconds. Herbert looking to his left, completes to Ty Bryant, who scurries out of bounds to stop the clock at 5.
So that will do it for Highland's offensive drive here as the field will flip turnover on downs, and I would imagine there will be one kneel down here and then the old post-game handshake, as looks like some kind of a firework may have just gone off in the student section over there for Desert Ridge.
Some red powder over there.
Yeah, a big powder explosion. And now a penalty coming in. Looks like this might be on the Highland sideline. As it looked like there was some discussion between an official and the Highland coaching staff. And that is what it appears, an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty against Highland, which at this point really means nothing. You'd have to imagine that Matthew Purnell will simply drop his knee here and get Desert Ridge out with a victory.
Oh, and there it is. The clock will wind down. And the Desert Ridge Jaguars have clinched their first division title since 2014. Highland drops to 7-3. As a Jaguar fan runs across the field with their school's flag.
Yeah, Desert Ridge improves to 9-1 on the season, a phenomenal year for the Jaguars. And they just made a strong case. They could end up being one of the top seeds in the 6A bracket.
Thanks for coming out. Highland Hawk fans, always the classiest fans in the state. Always the classiest. Thank you.
We're going to send it to break. We'll be right back with our post-game show. This one has gone final here in Gilbert. Desert Ridge gives Highland their first home loss of the season. It's 7. I'll be right back. All right, so right now. Welcome back into the nest here in Gilbert at Highland High School. I'm Jordan Lank, alongside my partner Alex Didion. Alex, it's been a pleasure working with you this whole season. The Hawks didn't end the season the way that they wanted to by the hands of a 21-0 loss against the Desert Ridge Jaguars. Just came in here and really handed it to Highland tonight.
Yeah, I mean, this Highland team, they came in underdogs for sure, but Desert Ridge's defense was absolutely phenomenal. Just Caleb Herbert and this offense were unable to find anything working on the offensive end, just 7 points, and it was a tough night. He had no time to throw the ball, and when they did try to run it, a lot of ineffective runs, and it's a tough way to go. However, both teams still going to be able to make it into the playoffs tomorrow morning at about 10:30. They'll be announcing the 6A bracket, all of the teams. Desert Ridge, as I said, made a strong case for possibly being that top seed in the region, although Chandler, Hamilton, some of those teams in that premier division are really powerful. What do you see as playoff prospects for this Highland team?
Well, right now this team is number 6 in the state, and where they stand right now, they would play number 11 Desert Mountain. Not sure where they'll end up tomorrow. I would assume that they would still hover around that number 6 platform, maybe drop to maybe 7 or 8. I don't see them going up anywhere. They definitely won't be number 5. They could stay at 6, depending what else has happened tonight. We haven't seen any of the scores yet, but pending some big losses or some big wins, I see Highland just sticking around at that spot.
Yeah, and one thing I think Highland's going to have to square away is whether or not Jacob Wood will be available during that postseason, as he was a big factor all season long for Highland. And his absence tonight was felt, I think, both on the offense and defensive end, where he's playing linebacker or he's playing running back. He's a big factor as a senior, and a tough way for him to have his senior night, having to stand on the sideline and watch his team fall. And so we'll see what happens. I mean, this Desert Ridge team, I would not want to face them in the postseason. And Highland, it's a competitive team. Hopefully we'll have a playoff game here next Friday night. We'll have to see once again what the rankings shake out, but if we do, it should be a fun one. The crowd was really into it. This is one of the largest venues in 6A, with stands going from the 10 to the 10 here. So a lot of excitement. A playoff atmosphere would be even better. Tonight you saw almost what amounted to a playoff atmosphere, a lot of penalties. So it's going to be a fun game. It's going to be a fun postseason here in Arizona.
It was electric here in Gilbert. We'll find out where Highland stands tomorrow morning. For my partner, Alex Didion, I'm Jordan Lank. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in this season. We are proud to have brought you these broadcasts. Good night.